Welcome, welcome to my channel. I am Colleen Flaherty, and this is my first live stream video, and I'm super stoked because I'm here with all of the fancy equipment that I've been accumulating over the past 4 years, and now it's time to put it into some good use. I'm super stoked, and welcome. Thanks for clicking and viewing. I'm going to get right into it. My tagline on my Instagram is "Your wild is calling. It wants to get dirty." And I brainstormed on this phrase tonight because I thought it was a good jumping off point to who I am or my beliefs or what this channel is all about or what this channel is growing into as I grow. This channel has morphed and changed as I've gone on my career. It's weird to say that something is a career, like my business adventure. And what I did was I brainstormed what the word wild actually means to me in this sentence. And I wrote it all down. It's on a whiteboard right below the camera. So I'm going to read it because it's a lot of words and phrases. And then we can talk about it a little bit. And I would love to hear your comments of what the word wild means to you, because that's what this new business journey is all about for me. And I like using my hands, but my microphone likes to escape me. So I'm kind of like holding the leash on it. Oh, the things that come with live streaming, either technical issues or just equipment issues. It's always interesting. But to get down to my definition of wild and what that cultivates for me and for all of us, and who I want to attract into these experiences. So, what I wrote is true essence, true nature. Wild is you, your authentic self, who you actually are, not the constructs, the roles, the responsibilities. It's actually who you deep down are longing to be and show the world. It's not who you think you should be in front of society or your partner or your family or your coworkers. It is the truest of true of the soul that was brought into this world, into this body, before all of the rules and the bullshit were thrust against you or upon you, molding you into what your parents or what your family wanted you to be. Wild is who you actually are. The wondrous and curious child, the vulnerable, the kind, the raw, the charismatic, the sensual, the one with innate abilities, which I call superpowers. Getting back to nature most of the time, not just on vacations or holidays. Wild is respect for Mother Earth and sustainable living, which we'll talk about in more detail because it can be a lot to figure out. Wild is a deep understanding that we are all connected physically and energetically. So that was a lot of stuff. There's so many layers to being a human, and there's so many layers to just this one single word for me. A lot of these things have come obviously from my own journey of figuring out who I am and what wild means to me and why I even chose this word wild. When it comes down to it, I obviously have all these definitions of this one word. But when you think about wild, it's it's like the wild frontier, or, forests, dense forests are wild, or, places on earth that are still wild. They're still in their most natural state. It's something that we all feel down to our bones, this wild, rustic feeling and calling, that it's why we bring nature into our homes. It's why we have plants. It's why we have wood flooring or things that look like wood flooring. And it's why we diffuse essential oils. I have a found pine cone sitting on my shelf. It's why we gravitate towards these things to decorate. We usually gravitate towards these things to decorate our homes with. And it's why we go on vacation in wild places. It's why, any chance we get, we go camping or RVing, or we go to the beach, or we go to the mountains, and we go in a cabin. We long for that. And it's been so removed from our daily practice of being a human. I was listening to this one show, and they talked about the domestication of humans, and that is the boxing in our homes, domestication, domestic animals that we've become. And we've so gotten away from our natural side, our animalistic side, our instincts, our intuition, our superpowers, all the things that make us animals of this planet. No matter how you think we came into being, it still can't be denied that we are part of the ecosystem of this planet. We also cannot survive without many different elements of this planet. And so we have the responsibility as a wild animal with higher thinking power to be our best selves for not only our future generations and offspring, but for others that share this space with us as well. Your wild is calling. It wants to get dirty. Why did I choose the word dirty? Here is all of what this word represents to me. Real, hard work. Roll up sleeves to dive in. Exploration. Make messes. Make mistakes and dust yourself off to learn and keep moving. Sitting in wet, dewy grass to watch the leaves blow in the wind. Snowball fights. Standing up for compassion even if you're the only one. Loving fiercely. Going after what you want. Mud fights or sliding in the mud. When I was a teenager, I had a best friend, and every spring I say every spring, but we really only did it like 2 springs in a row, or maybe 3, I can't remember. But when it was just warm enough that we weren't going to freeze, but it was still like that early springtime when like all the snow was melting and it was just mud everywhere. It was like everyone's worst time in the East Coast was when the snow melted, and it was just like gross and wet everywhere. We embraced it, and we would go mudsliding, and we would literally get mud all the way into like our hair follicles on our scalp because we were that much entrenched in the experience of mudsliding. Like we'd sprint and like slide on our stomachs or like just run around. We would roll. It's definitely a practice I want to get back into because it was just so much fucking fun. Like it was just so freeing to be. I mean, we were teenagers, but still we had that like kid-like curiosity and weirdness about us. But I'm definitely waiting for the day where I can go playing in the mud again. And around here it's like orange, so I think that's even cooler. Anyways, back to my list. Dirty is going after what you want. Oh, I already said that. Sorry. Bare feet, grit, fortitude, taking it on because what really is there to lose? Ferociously forging with the pulling whispers of intuition. Let me say that again. Ferociously forging with the pulling whispers of invitation. Nope. intuition. There we go. I can't read my own handwriting. Owning our sensuality and what we feel sexy doing, wearing, speaking, recording, and the like. Living life on your terms, sovereign, powerful. So I want to go back to the sentence that I couldn't say because I think it's really important. And ferociously forging with the pulling whispers of intuition. This has been a super hot topic. I feel coming out of 2020, everyone getting to the brass. I don't even know what I want to say with that sentence. Getting to like the bare bones of what really matters in their life, and when other freedoms are taken away and what you are or what you do is also taken away, like who the fuck are you? And I think it was a time where people got the opportunity to dive into what actually makes them happy or what they really need, which was clearly loads and loads of toilet paper. That's a whole different conversation. But I think it was a beautiful burning down for a lot of people of like, what are they doing in their life? Do they even like what they're doing? Do they even like themselves? Do they like their partner? Do they like the life that they've created? Like there's so many layers to this, as you can see from my list. There's many, many different definitions of these two words for me and for you. And ferociously forging is that you are like, I just envision tall fields of grass that have nothing untouched, and you're walking through them, forging this new way, this new path. And it can go anywhere that you want because it's yours for the taking. And that's what our life is. Like there's just like constant input from all these outside sources of like what it should be like and what it could be, and don't you want this product, and this product can make your life so much easier, and don't you want this supplement because you're feeling shitty about yourself. And like it's this barrage of you being told what your life should be like. And I mean, it goes back down to the basics of like, go to college, find a partner, get married, buy a house, have babies. Like that whole stereotypical American dream that so many of us have realized is awful and bullshit. And you need to choose your order of operations for those things based on what you want, not based on like what some rando decides to tell you, you know, how you should live your life. And so forging ferociously with the pulling whispers of intuition. And pulling has been a really big word in my life. And it's one that I've always been like, yeah, I'm being pulled. But I've totally lied to myself. I'm a really great liar. I'm a generator by human design. I have tons of like ideas and energy, and it's been a struggle for, I don't know, the past 8 years to start to understand and actually trust and appreciate the feminine energy that is always at play for us, ladies, and people who associate with feminine energy more. And even men, even masculine energy can be pulled by more feminine, what's the word I'm looking for? More softness, more intuition, more trust in things are operating in your favor, more divine, I think, more creative energy, not like I am the creator, like ego, but you have this sense of it's going to happen the way that it's supposed to happen, and like that's okay. That's surrender. That's been really hard for me. I grew up an athlete. I grew up super, you know, in the weight room, always around dudes, always been told that, you know, business and life is a hustle and a grind and you got to get after it. And whatever. And I did that for, the past 9 years of business. And it wasn't until 2020 brought business to a standstill. And I was just like, whew, I don't want to fucking wear this anymore. I don't want to wear hustle and grind, and it's exhausting. And even though I can do it, like I'm a workhorse and I got that. Like I know that I can do that. It just didn't serve me in the ways that I wanted it to in the past, and in business and in other areas of my life, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. And I did not want to be a bull in a china shop of life anymore. And 2020 for us all was a complete redesign. We were called to examine, and we are still being called to examine. I'm definitely being called to examine, but 2020 for me, the universe, that's who I believe in. I believe in the universe. I believe in ancestors and angels and archangels and collective consciousness and goddesses and gods. They're all there working for us. And you believe in what you want to believe. You do you, boo. I just believe that there's a higher power, and it's fucking great. And it's always working in our favor. And to help us be our truest of true, you're wild, if you will. And this energy of the feminine was that slowing down, that listening to my gut, that going to where the letting go of a lot of like, I have to take action. I have to figure it out. Like that was just frustrating. And it was a lie. Like it's a lie that you have to do and figure out and make it happen. Like that's way too much. That's way too much output as you, as this physical entity. It's also, for me, it was very diverted from what I actually should be doing, but I didn't know what I should be doing until I took these steps in the journey to finally figure out and be like, oh, because that's how it works. You got to like keep showing up. You got to do some work, like clear some shit out, and then you take a step. And then you're like, whoa, I'm up leveling. Like, this is awesome. This is my truest self. I've taken off a layer. I've taken off an onion layer. I've taken off a veil. A veil has been lifted. I can see clearly now, whatever. And this pulling, I always thought, I'm super passionate about this. I'm super passionate about pregnancy and postpartum exercise. I love it. Like, I could study it for days. I'm pulled towards it clearly. And I love it. Like I honestly love it. And once 2020 hit and just things started to take a landslide for me, business wise, where I lived, where my business was, how I was serving, it all was fragmented. Like it wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't what I wanted to be doing. It wasn't where I wanted to be living. It wasn't where I didn't want to be living in the like literal environment of a desert of San Diego, where I didn't feel like I was connected to anything because it's so filled with people and buildings and concrete. There was just so many things, and it was anxiety inducing. And my shoulders were always tense. I felt like I constantly had to do work to calm my nervous system down, to get myself out of fight or flight. And I'm like, I'm not stressed. Like I'm not outwardly stressed. I feel like I'm enjoying these things. Like they're not awful. I'm still serving the community. I'm still alive. I'm still able to grocery shop and eat nutritious meals. What's happening? And long story short, I got the opportunity to move to North Carolina, and I felt very pulled to that because woods, water, nature. I could be barefoot and not have to worry about stepping on a scorpion. You know, there was just so many natural wild elements to that move. And as soon as I made that decision for myself, the universe was still conspiring in my favor, but there was a lot of fucking hard choices that were made for me to keep learning about my power, learn about my power. Who is Colleen Flaherty? Who is this soul living in this body? Oh yeah, you think that that's you? Well, what do you think about this situation? Make a hard decision. What do you think about this decision? Make a hard decision. And it was like boom, 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 boom since October, just nailing them out. And I had to keep showing up for myself and keep being pulled into what my intuition was telling me. I had to keep just surrendering to whatever the fuck it felt like it was supposed to be. And that's that surrender. And once I started dropping in, meditating, tuning in, journaling, talking about, writing about what I really wanted out of life, things came across my path and I had to make a choice. Like, where was my true north and how was it going to handle this opportunity and this confrontation or this experience? And you get challenged. I just think of it as like bumper bowling. Like, you're going down the lane and you're just like bouncing off of stuff. It's not a straight trajectory to get to, I don't believe that there's any like end of like achievement. We're just on this beautiful journey for the ride and the experiences and to like, just live life to its maximum. But like, being dirty to me is all of these words, and then it's also not those words, because it really represents the counterculture of whatever life you're living. Like, dirty to me is your wildest calling. It wants to get dirty. It wants something different. It wants something so extreme from whatever it is that you're doing that it's like raunchy and different, and you're kind of embarrassed by it, and you're also really excited about it. And that's when you know it's good. I always say, when something makes me a little bit nervous and a little bit uncomfortable and a little bit excited, I know it's the right step. It's the right choice to make, because that is your intuition, curious and also on the edge of like that growth opportunity, and you're like tickling it, and you have that opportunity to step into your power and say, fuck yes, this is me. I am sovereign. I am making this choice. I want to do this and take the risk and make this jump. Little, big, medium, whatever. So yeah, those are my definitions of this sentence, this phrase that I came up with out of my brain. And now you get to know a little bit about me and where I'm going with this new offering, these new experiences, these new gatherings. I really haven't like formed any title of what I'm calling the in-person offerings of 2021. But I'm really excited to be hopping on here, giving these short, quick and dirty tips, education, conversations. I hope that you post in the comments what wild and dirty mean to you. If you have any questions, if you have any funny things to leave me, I don't know. This channel is all about building community, and these conversations are all about community and just building each other up, because I love you, and my main goal in life is to ensure that no one is suffering. I want you to feel whole and loved and supported, and on fire and in love with yourself and loving your life in every single second, even when it's hard and shitty, you're still grateful that you're alive to live this human existence. So I hope you'll join me for future conversations. I also have conversations with my boyfriend over on the app Stereo. Download it today. My handle on there, just like Instagram, is Wilderness Bay. I will put all of that in the comments section so you can just click away and find all of that useful stuff. I hope you have a glorious day or evening wherever you are in the world, whenever you're tuning in, and I will definitely be speaking with you soon.